All right, so I was trying to share my screen and it was like doing something weird.
It's on your screen. Please forgive me for being off camera. I'm at a coffee house and you would just get a snapshot of my nostrils, which is probably appealing for
Hold on a second. Can you guys see that? I'm like, I don't know if I can. Oh, God. Escape. Can you guys see my screen? I'm going to go just use it this way so I can see you guys. You guys all okay? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, no. Pictures, whatever. Yay, yay, nay. Can you guys see all this? Can you see? Okay. I wanted to put it in presentation mode, but it's doing something really weird. So you're going to get to see all the slides on the side too, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm Jacqueline Strominger. I want to talk to you about relationship capital and making moves. And I do like interaction. So you also go in the chat. How many of you have gone to networking events and you leave the networking event and you walk out and you think, I got lots of business cards, but what am I going to do with them? They're not going to take me anywhere. These are not the right cards. Have you ever, anybody ever felt that?
Jacqueline,
Yes.
if you want, I had a intro video for you if you want to hear it, but I don't know if you want to just keep going or you want to hear the
I'll
intro
just
video.
keep going,
All
whatever.
right. So cool. I did, yeah, it was, the technology wasn't working right, so I apologize,
That's
but
okay.
keep going. It's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So anybody ever felt that, right? So I always like to say, are you pushing the right buttons? Like, because we go into these rooms and sometimes you don't actually know if it's going to get you anywhere. But you walk out with all those cards and you think, was it really the right moves for me? So I want to talk about this because this is small moves that can bring really big results. So when you walk into the room, we have to think about a couple of things. It's, did we pick the right room, number one? What are the conversations that we are having? Are we individually showing up the right way? And I'd love to share this, a little tip. Before you walk into any room, whether it's a networking event or a meeting or you're getting on virtually, think about how you're smiling. Do you have baggage that you had earlier that day? And if you have, go into the bathroom, particularly like if you're at an event, go into the bathroom, take out your phone, listen to some music that's going to hype you up, do some jumping jacks to get your energy up. And then when you, and I'm going to say this because I like if you, as a symbolic thing, flush the toilet and flush all the baggage that you had down the toilet. And when you walk out, you're walking with a smile, you're walking tall, and you walk into the room and you know you're going to be there to connect. So it's those little things that you can do to make those big results. And that's one of the big things, how you show up. And number two in that is, which a lot of people seem to forget. So you got to show up, you have to have good conversations, and you have to follow up. But we're going to talk about following up as one of the key things that I use AI for. But I want to talk about why I call it relationship capital. Relationship capital is getting people, you all hear know, like, and trust. I like to change that around to know, like, and believe. When you have relationship capital, you are building really deep connections with people that people will get to know you. They believe in you, and those bring results. And it's not the throwing up on people that they're going where you're going to just sell people. You're talking about going after the long game. Relationship capital gets results when you think about that long game. So one thing I want to say to make sure that we really talk about is not every room is the right room. So what I like to say, pushing the button. So what I would challenge each and every one of you to do, and I always do this now myself, is do the research. Before you say yes to the room, see who's going to be in the room. Are those the people that you want to speak to? Before you press the button, let's do the research, because the wrong room is never great, but the right room is going to elevate. So again, how many times have we been in the wrong rooms? Show of hands. I can see Julia's and Aisha are I can see the pictures. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've been in the wrong room. You walk in and you're just like, oh my God, this is not the right place. So I want to share with you, I developed this little strategy. It is the room matrix. And this actually goes deeper. There's questions that go along with it. And I teach a course that's all on relationship capital. And I'm actually going to be doing a 7-day challenge on ROI, on relationship capital. But talk about the time drain, that lower left corner. So we've all been in that room, right? You walk in, it's low energy. It's not the people that are going to even give you the right business. They don't know how to, they're not going to be the people to connect. They're not even at your level. But maybe the name of the event seemed to be the right one. It is a time drain, it's a time suck. And you're just like, oh. But one of the things that we do is we still stay. Because obligation, we just think maybe something's going to happen. Well, we don't want to be in those time drain rooms. Now, comfort zone. I've been here way too many times, and maybe y'all have too. But you know the room where it's people that you know, it's fun, it's social. You walk in, I'm going to maybe you're drinking the cup of coffee, or I'm like my coffee, which you can't see in this, or you're getting a cocktail. And again, you stay, but it's still not the right room. It's comfortable. It's super comfy because you know the people. But are they really going to give you business? Are they really the people that can pay for your services? Maybe not. So then, but we still stay because it's comfortable. Then there's the mismatch room. Mismatch is super energy. It's kind of the right people in the sense of the level that they are, but it's really not the right audience for your business or for your purpose. And I want to share that part of it too, because when you do the research on the rooms, you have to think about the purpose that you're walking into the room for. And I like to break those down into 4 things. Number 1 is it's a business partner, or I'm going after clients, or I'm walking into the room because I actually am looking for people that I can mastermind with. I want people that I can learn from. Or maybe I'm walking into the room because I want to make deeper friendships. But whatever that room is that you're in, if it's a mismatch of the audience, again, it's not the right place. Now, the growth room, that's where we want you to spend the time. That's where opportunities happen. That's also where you get a little uncomfortable, right? We know that uncomfortable. We want to get uncomfortable and have those butterflies in our stomach when we're walking into that room, because then we know it's the right room, it's the right people, it's the right energy. So we want to make sure we're getting into that right place. So when I do the room matrix, there's also some additional questions that go along with it. You can actually use to score every event that you're going into so that you know that it's going to be the right room for you with the right reasons. So key thing is we don't need more, we just need right. So we all know the definition of insanity, which is truly, right? Like you keep doing the same things over and over again and you expect different results. It's the same thing with the rooms that we go to. If we keep going into the same rooms and we're thinking we're going to meet the right people, We need to have that time to say, nope, I'm not going to do that. I need to be in the right rooms. So using AI, you really can dive into searching and researching the rooms to be in. And when you find them, seriously make sure you like take the title. And I always say, don't just use one platform to search because they're going to give you different results. So search the room, find out who's going to be there, find out who has been there, and ask different bots because they will give you different answers in different things. They're going to come up with different things. They're not all the same. I happen to like using Claude for research, but I tend to ask, when I'm researching a room, I will go to 3 different places to see what I get so I can get my consensus. Okay, so once we've kind of got our room, how do we make sure that we're showing up in the room the right way? And there's a strategy behind this, and that's clarity. We have a few things, and I call it the relationship capital code. And it's clarity, it's intention, and it's your connections. So talking about that clarity, it's knowing who you are before you walk in the room, being 100% clear of who you want to connect with. Who is your ideal customer if you're going into the room for clients? Who's your ideal business partner? Who is your ideal mentor or business mastermind contact? If you haven't used AI to develop those 3 different areas and buckets, your ideal client, partner, and mastermind, take the time to do that. But knowing what you're walking into the room for lets you know how to say yes before you start to connect. Now, intentional connection. I want to say this and I'm sure you've all been there. Have you ever been in a networking event where you're talking to somebody and they're doing the head, they almost look like the owl, kind of looking around the room, right? Julia's shaking her head, yes, right? Like, oh my God. And Alicia's shaking, yeah, right? And you do me a favor, get comfortable saying, is there somebody that you'd like to meet? Because if they're doing that, they're not present. So don't be the owl. Don't be the person looking around. Be 100% present. And before you walk into the room, before you get there, think of 5 questions. And this is a great AI tip. Ask AI, what are 5 key questions I could ask anybody today that will help me get to know them better before I ask what they do? 5 questions. What can you ask? But 100% be present. Nobody wants to be the person that's in front of the looky-loo. If you can make somebody feel the most important person in the room when you're talking to them, you are going to start deepening and building a great connection. Okay, so this is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. This is why I brought this up right at this point. Details really matter in what's in a name. So number 1, I highly recommend, if you want to locate a place to buy these, get yourself a name tag. Get a decent size name tag that people can read your name, not going to have to squint. I can't read it. Get yourself a name tag. Get a good one. Then, please, 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 when somebody introduces themselves and they say their name, please do not shorten it. Do not automatically go to what you think is their nickname. Hi, my name is Jacqueline. God, if you call me Jackie, I'm going to smack you. Sorry. I said my name is Jacqueline. If Julia answers and says her name is Julia, I'm not going to say, hey, Jules. Like, she didn't say that. She said Julia. Marissa's not going to say, if Marissa says, hi, you can call me, I'm Marissa, but you can call me Mar. Great. I'm still going to call you Marissa. Like, please do me a favor and don't shorten somebody's name. This is like such a pet peeve. So use their name. And then when somebody, introduces themselves, immediately say their name back so that it does two things. Number one, it makes them feel that you just heard their name, and it's going to sink in. It's going to sink into your brain. So you're going to know it. And of course, you've heard it. Say it 2 more times in the conversation. Now, if for some reason or another, as somebody's sharing their name and you hear something else and so you miss it, say, oh, I'm so sorry. I missed your name. Be honest. Please be honest. Because the last thing you want to do is walk away from somebody, because I'm going to share you a little AI tip that you're going to need to know their name. So you want to know their name. So again, details matter. Names are important. Use people's names as they say them. Such a pet peeve. Sorry if I'm like, don't mean to like belabor that point, but it's like, oh, I'm at a conference right now, a separate conference, and I can't begin to tell you how many times like people have now called me Jackie. And I'm like, nope, that's Jacqueline. Anyway, so once we have introduced ourselves and we know what we want, I want you to think about, we all know that the fortunes in the follow-up. You've heard it 1,001 times. And I want to share with you one of my great tips with using AI in a second. But I want you to think about how you follow up with people. And I want you to think about CEO, not the fact that you're the chief executive officer. You are the CEO of you, but think of the C as connect, E is engaged, an O is offer. So connect, engage, offer. And think about how you are going to follow up with these people. If you walk into a room, you don't also want to meet every single person. It's quality over quantity, but know that you need to set the follow-up and set it up and let people know when you are going to follow up with them right then and there. Okay, so now I want to get into like the AI part of this, because that's like the fun part. So do y'all have one of these lovely little things? It's called a phone. Usually we have it in our pockets. And I would normally tell you during an event to keep it in your pocket, but take it out. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I don't know where it is on an Android phone, but on your iPhone, you have a hot button. I don't know what they call it. They probably call it something else. But we want to think of capture, remember, connect, right? So capture a picture. Take a picture of the person that you're meeting. Make sure you've gotten their telephone number. Send them a picture. But I want you to take one extra step. And if you can either use your hot button, and I'm going to press mine, and it starts recording. Hey, I just met Julia. I am at this great event. We're talking about habits, and it's Julia James, and she and I are going to connect, and I want to make sure that I send her a follow-up. And her business is blah, 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 whatever. So now that you've recorded, now if you don't do a voice note, you can also use your record in your, well, I know on iPhone, I'm assuming that you can do the same thing on an Android. You can record notes in the notes section on your phone. You can just hit the record button and it'll start typing it out. You could also go to your favorite chat or bot and record too. I like doing a separate message so I have it separately and then I can copy it. And then when I get back, I take that, I put it into my favorite AI, and I have it do a few things. Number one, write an email. Write the email that's based on me, what I just said about the person. I'm also going to ask my favorite AI bot to do a little research. Let me know a little bit more about the people that I've met. I want to know a little bit more about Dr. B. What is he up to? I just met him, so I now want to know a little bit more. What does Marissa do? I want to make sure that I know that. And then we want to make sure that we do that offer. Do I want to have a call? Do I want to say, oh, I wanted to remember, I'm going to connect Marissa with Julia because I said I was going to do that. So I want to make that happen. So I want to make sure that we do that introduction. Then I ask my favorite, I have a two-step process. And it's every 2 steps to yes. So my chat knows about my 2-step process. So I will say, put, Marissa into my 2-step process. And I want her to create the 2 steps for today, remind me the 2 steps for tomorrow, and remind me the 2 steps for 2 days later. And what are the 2 steps? Well, number one, send an email. The second step is connect on social. 2 days later, it's a voice message and maybe a text. And then 2 days later, it's an email and a text. And there's always an offer in there. What do I want to accomplish? Do I want a meeting? Am I making a connection? If it's a meeting, please, and it's important, I believe, to give somebody the out. Hey, I'm so sorry that we haven't been able to connect. You guys, I see you haven't clicked my booking link. I see you haven't sent me your booking, whatever that is. I know we're all really busy. I am going to follow up with you in 2 weeks. And then I ask my friendly chat after I've done that, please make sure you send me a reminder for 2 weeks from today to follow up. Yes, you can put it in your calendar. Yes, you can put a reminder, but it is so nice when your assistant of AI sends you the reminder. I love it. It's like, oh, thank you so much for reminding me. It's your virtual assistant. It is a great assistant to have. So use it for those little things. I love it for reminders. Now, you can, I'm not a Google person. I use Outlook and I'm an Apple person. But I know that Chat GPT is a lot more integrated with Google. So you can literally have it put it on your calendar and remind you. So if you have that integration. I don't do that. I'm sorry that I don't like Google. It's my thing. But these are little things to do to use your phone to do that follow-up, to build that relationship, to create that system so that you are actually working your business. Okay, so I want to share this with you. It's a little personal, but why do I do a system like this? Well, have you ever been one of those people, because I was, where you just didn't feel like you belonged in the room, or maybe there was a lack of confidence? I will tell you, I was probably the most insecure human being on the frickin' planet. Lots of different reasons, but the quick answer is I had a massive, massive nose, which got fixed when I was 16, and my eyes were crossed. My eyes were crossed until I was 25. So I carried this insecurity with me. It was a badge, and I wore it so uncomfortably. And in order for me to actually basically get over my fear of connecting and being, and to remind myself it's my business, I needed a system to go from uncomfortable to comfortable to uncomfortable, so to speak. You always have to, like, we always know where we have to, big breakthroughs come from we're on that when we're out of our comfort zone. We have to break through. I was so uncomfortable, but even making a system, I was like, oh my God, are they going to want to actually follow up with me? And I kept thinking, well, what they're not following up. I'm not hearing back from people. And then it was like, Jacqueline, it's not their business. It's your business. So each and every one of us has a business. To be the CEO, we have to forget about whether or not somebody's following up with us. We all know those statistics, right? It takes like 12 times before we actually get a actual response back, and that's a response. So work and be the CEO of you and have a system. And I will tell you, once I did this, every place I went into, it took out that feeling of, if I was walking into the right room, I'm using my matrix, I know I'm where I belong. And now I've got a system in place to follow up. And that's why I love the AI system, where I take a picture, I do my follow up with the email. I know that I am actually going to get results. So one of the things that I always like to share is it's the long game, right? And we've all been there. And right, how many times right now do we get thrown up on every time we go on to LinkedIn, right? Sorry, right, right. Julia, I love you because we're like interacting. Like, but it's really painful, right? Like you go on and like somebody connects with you and you look at their bio and it says, I help. And you're like, oh shit, they're gonna spam me with some right? And sure enough, you say, oh, I can help you with this. I'm like, how do you know what I need? Have you even asked me? Do we have a conversation? So obviously don't be that person. Start building the relationship, saying, and I actually have been tending to do this with anybody who does that. I'm like, thank you very much. I don't actually answer these. If you would like to have a conversation about how we can mutually beneficially work together, or found out how we can support each other, I am open to that. Here's my link, 30 minutes, we can chat. But here's a big thing, is that revenue is going to come from building trust. And trust comes from the long game of building relationships. And I love to share this because, I went from, I've built businesses, I have blown up areas and generated great income, but using the long game, knowing that the relationship that are being built will cover and span lifetimes. I have relationships with people that from 30, 40, I'm dating myself, years ago. And, to this day, I still think about one of my, really best connections. I met this gentleman, Steve Edelstein, standing outside of the Direct Marketing Association. I spent many years in consumer marketing, standing outside a conference in Louisiana and New Orleans. And I don't know, we struck up a conversation. And to this day, he does logistics. And I've had people that I've referred him to. I'm like, oh, I know, I can refer you to my buddy Steve. he'll pick up the phone and be like, oh, Jack, you need to meet this person. It's a long-standing relationship. And over time, it's that trust that will actually come back time and time again. So we want to think about the long game. And I know sometimes we want the quick sale because we want to make the money, but nobody likes to be thrown up on. And we want the long relationship. So build trust, build the relationship so people again believe in you. And when you and it's not just know, like, trust. I love that word believe. You don't, it's your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. That's going to come back over, it's going to come back in spades. So I built a workbook. I was like, what is this thing? It is a workbook. It is 5 key strategies to transform your network into your net worth, because your network is your net worth. It is a free complimentary workbook. It does have in there a follow-up process that using the 2 steps. It also has a great way, like a tracking system on there to actually post. And then lastly, if you want to take it the step further, I do have a 5-day course that we're doing. It's building relationship capital, and it's going to start on the 27th. I'd love for you guys all to be there. I take you through the room matrix. You get a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm Jacqueline Strominger, and I'm hoping that you got something great out of this. And it's all about building relationship capital. So, and I wanted to do this quick picture because I'm going to reach out to every one of you. Thank you, guys.